Hey guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for stopping by to watch another video here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, crypto, and finance. In today's video, we'll be covering latest updates with Ethereum, as well as share with you latest updates with BitMine Emerging Technology, ticker BMNR, led by Chairman Tom Lee from Fundstrat. This company is the biggest Ethereum treasury company out there right now, currently holding one no, close to 1.3 million Ethereum on their treasury. I mean, they just announced like not too long ago, and they are aggressively buying Ethereum. How high can Bitcoin really go? We'll go through the technicals as well as share with you my technical analysis predictions of Ethereum, and you don't want to miss it. At the end, I will be playing an epic video clip of Ethereum where he's sharing his idea that Ethereum is the new Bitcoin. Let's begin, guys. Mr. Crypto poses Ethereum has already bottomed out, just like in previous cycles. ETH always pumps hard after the bottom is in. This time it won't be different. So, what had happened back in the 2020 bottom, 2021? We got to that all-time high of like 4,800. And with us now at that bottom, how high are we going to see Ethereum blast off? I'll share with you my overall predictions with how high Ethereum is going to be going, likely in 2025. Ted posts ETH at 4.5K isn't the end, just the beginning. Bitcoin as a 2.5 trillion asset has pumped nearly 2x from its 2021 highs. Now everything that pumped Bitcoin higher is happening with Ethereum. 10K ETH is a FUD. We are going even higher than that. So how high are we going to go? Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your perspective is. I mean, 2016, 2017, we had that low end bear trap. What had happened? We had that huge run up. 2024, 2025, we had that bear trap where it dropped to like 1,000, 350. How high are we going to go? Let's take a look at this post. Ethereum is nowhere near the danger zone. Ethereum is still chilling in the accumulation bands. Past cycles show blue and green zones are the boarding gate. Red zone is where the crowd FOMO in. The chart money cashes out. So where are we right now? I mean, 2020, we had that big, steel price where price of Ethereum was low. We also had that when price dropped down at like 1300 around this blue to green cheap zone on the rainbow chart. Where are we currently right now? We just got out of that still cheap. It's in that steady range, and relative strength's gonna kick into gears. We'll be into that hodl and take profit zone, where we may very well have, price be around, whether it's 7,000, 15,000, you name it. Cointelegraph posts in a comment to Ted Pellos. Eric Trump said, buy the dips. So we had Eric Trump, announce, he continues to comment about this, but he continues to say, buy the dips, whether that's Ethereum, Bitcoin. I mean, Eric is doing it, his father is doing it. You know where the money is headed. It's towards cryptocurrency. And right now, even financial institutions are doing that, whether that's BlackRock to fund ETHA, Grayscale, ETHE. I mean, inflows are ramping up, and we also have Ethereum Treasury public companies buying left and right now. Urkel posts Ethereum broke through 4,000 and missed my 4,800 target by $8 this week. If it can push through 4,800 through 4,900, it's got clear blue skies above 7,000 plus. Wonder what treasuries like BMNR from Fundstrat would like if this type of move came. So, how high is Ethereum going to go? But we have a lot of room for price discovery range. It's going to be very interesting how August, September, all the way through December plays out. So this is going to be very interesting and bullish for, ETH treasury companies like BMNR having the most ETH. Donald posts BMNR bullish pennant updated targets. So his targets he has is around 65, 69, $83. He's saying BitMine is forming a bullish pennant at the volume shelf, a potential launch area. BMNR is at 1% each supply on its way to 5% alchemy. The next target is at the 1.8x NAV price of $65 based on 4,700 ETH. Additional targets are, let's say ETH goes to 5,000, we have BMNR at like $69. ETH goes to 6,000, we have BMNR at $83. 618 fib target is $111. So with this bullish pennant flag, just on the near term approach in August, he's suspecting that we're gonna have, volume shelf in this bullish pennant flag, and it's gonna start breaking out from that flag that's being established right now. Chris posts about BMNR. Obviously, we heard about BitMine announcing news where they're going to acquire, $20 billion dollars. That's with partnerships with Cantor Fitzgerald and Think Equity, in order to, raise capital, $20 billion dollars to buy additional Ethereum with that. I mean, I think in the long-term scale, BitMine, they're not stopping. They're trying to be the MSTR of Ethereum, and they will continue to buy, create that disparity with other Ethereum treasury companies that are trying to follow the strategy that BitMine and MSTR is doing, but they're trying to, get the most Bitcoin as they possibly can before Ethereum price starts ramping up. BitMine BMNR posts ETH. I mean, forwarding what Scottie Pippen had posted. Scottie said everyone's watching the king Bitcoin, but only a few know how to read the court. You got Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin. I mean, you can think of Bitcoin as like Michael Jordan. You can think of Scottie Pippen as the Ethereum. You got Dennis Rodman as Solana, and then you got another player with Dogecoin during those times when we had Chicago Bulls playing so well, with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and the rest of the players. But that's true. We got to look at other players on the court. I mean, it's the entire crypto ecosystem right now, and Ethereum, even Solana and Doge, I think there's going to be huge run-ups. So HODL is the name of the game. BitMine BMNR also posts, Crypto Goose did announce PayPal's, paying system is nearing 1 billion in supply on ETH. These financial giants are building on Ethereum. So, PayPal is closing in on a 1 billion in supply on Ethereum. So just looking at this visual, I mean, what has happened since? I mean, we continue to see a ramp up. I mean, this is huge. I mean, heavy inflows. You got, Ethereum being bought up significantly right now by PayPal. Why is that the case? Well, I mean, now you can like make payments with Bitcoin and eventually through Ethereum too. That's going to be very bullish for this financial system, with Ethereum as the digital asset. We're looking at BitMine immersion technology. So since July announcement all the way through August, I mean, it hasn't been too long. We continue to see BMNR, stacking Ethereum right now. They have, close to over like close to, at 1.3 million, but their overall percentage of supply right now is at close to 1%. They're trying to get to 5% in terms of their, their reserve just with the amount of ETH they have. 5.2 billion market cap, $10 billion. Their MNAV getting close to 2, but this is very bullish. I think, with the 20 billion announcement, they will continue to, buy Ethereum over the course of time, similar to strategy every Monday announcing, Bitcoin purchases. I think Tom Lee's going to be doing the same. Let's look at technical analysis of Ethereum. So, what are we seeing? I mean, back in 2021, we saw a huge increase in volume when we saw that run up from like 370 all the way up to 4,600. That was a big bullish game on the last bull run. What has happened since? I mean, 1,300. It hasn't even broken out yet. Relative strength is fairly stable, but I think on the near term course, I think on a conservative level, 2025, I'm forecasting at around that 7,800. It could easily double, the price that I have it set at. Some are believing that it can go above 10,000, some are believing it can go above 15,000, but I definitely do think there's going to be that psychological barrier at 8,000. 7,800 is where I think is going to be that moderate, price point for the rest of 2025 is my assessment. Let's look at BMNR technical analysis. So since that big run up with the announcement, I mean, it went from $4 all the way to $160. Congratulations if you got in during that bull cycle run on the near term. Obviously, RSI was overbought. It had to cool off, which we've seen that happen. I mean, I posted, videos along with visuals on technical analysis that, we have a support base at like 28. Now it's the time to get in and of course, always do your research. And what has happened since? I mean, it's been going up since then. I anticipated that. OBV volume price actions increasing, relative strength. We're seeing a trend up in the right direction. We're seeing that bullish pennant flag drawn out. I really do think on the next step, we may very well get, into that $77 range. And then let's see how we can perform around that 70, high 70 range. And then we may very well start reaching the prior resistance of $88 and have it consolidate around this range, all depending on the velocity of Ethereum. It can just break through and consolidate posts step number one in green. But I think this is going to be a reasonable price target to achieve on the near term course in August, September. But we're looking very bullish right now. I think, the bulls are in favor. Ethereum, there's a lot of inflows going in. And I think we have a lot of upside with BMNR for the rest of 2025. And when you look at it as a long-term investment, I really do think BMNR is going to be something like what we've seen with strategy, just rising in value over the course of time. It's become a big giant. I think BMNR is going to be the same use case over time. This is going to be a good long-term investing strategy. You know, Kathy Wood has been buying BMNR stocks. I mean, they've been buying since June to now. And, there's the Wall Street backing. And, ARK Investment has made a significant purchase of BMNR over the course of multiple transactions. So looking very bullish. I like BMNR, and I think there's going to be some nice headways to come.
MicroStrategy did with Ether. You're going to make Ether, the purchases that you buy through this, you're going to set this whole thing up like this. You want to explain a little
bit? Yeah, glad to. I'm still a big fan of Bitcoin because I think it is, digital gold. But what we've seen in the last, really in 2025 is the financial services industry and crypto are converging. And it really started with stablecoins, which is the ChatGPT of crypto, right? Because it's viral adoption by consumers, businesses, banks, and now even Visa. Underneath the stablecoin industry is Ethereum. That is really like the backbone and architecture of stablecoins. So it's important to create a project that essentially accumulates Ethereum to essentially protect and have some influence on the network. So that's why we're creating this treasury vehicle to buy Ethereum. The more Ethereum that's accumulated, the more secure the network is. And I think it's also sort of the architecture that future banks will have. When Goldman issues a stablecoin and JP Morgan doing it on Ethereum as a layer one blockchain, they're going to want to secure it by staking Ethereum. So we're trying to get in front of that by creating a treasury.
Just so I understand, it's safer if you own more of it. Explain why that would be.
Well, Ethereum is a proof of stake network.
Right.
So unlike Bitcoin, which is proof of work and miners do all the work for you, and that's why you have decentralized trust. In Ethereum, it's important for these entities to be essentially validate transactions. So by becoming a staking entity, you're sort of securing the fidelity of stablecoins. So you don't want a stablecoin like USDC or USDT to be on a blockchain that's outside the purview of the US. And so I think Ethereum is a high quality, the second largest blockchain network, and it's over 51% of stablecoins, and right. 30% of all fees on Ethereum are actually stablecoin revenue.
So we even have the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, talking about how stablecoins could be very positive. He likes them, likes to see what's there. But you're basically saying with this, and we've also seen what happened with Circle, the stablecoin issue,
yes.
Huge run up after their IPO. So you're basically saying that this is the new Bitcoin. You're getting in at a very early stage.
Correct. That's right. Because let's say stablecoins, which is $250 billion today, gets to Treasury Secretary Bessent's reasonable $2 trillion. That's a 10 times increase in size. By the way, already stablecoins are the 12th largest holder of treasuries. They'll become the number one holder by then. US dollar dominance is 27% in GDP terms. It's 57% of central bank reserves. It's 80% of financial trading transactions. It's 100% of stablecoin denomination. So by getting to $2 trillion, you're ensuring dollar dominance. This is very good for the US, but 2 trillion of stablecoins is a lot of network fees for Ethereum.
So BitMine immersion, what you're doing is a $250 million private placement, which is all going to be put into
Yes,
Ether.
that's right. We created a carefully curated list of investors to bet on this. If you look at the press release, it is the blue chip, both in the financial world and in the crypto world. We have
Founders Fund, Kraken, Galaxy Digital.
yeah, Pantera. Yeah, so these are in the crypto world, and these are like sort of the blue chip crypto entities, and of course, Founders Fund is legendary in the traditional financial world.
And how do you measure this? Just based on exactly how Ethereum is trading?
Well, yeah, the strategy of the company is going to be based on how much Ethereum is held per share.
Okay.
And as of today, it's $4. And the company, as we explained in the press release, can increase its holdings of ETH by getting yield from Ethereum, doing financing transactions at a premium to their holdings, and of course, if Ethereum goes up. So I think there's 3 ways that value per ETH actually grows.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, I would really appreciate commenting down below, liking the video, and subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys.